President Trump has denied from day one having an affair with this woman. What he is an extortion victim. And by the way, it's regardless of whether he did or didn't. He says he didn't. I believe him, and the evidence, I think, is very powerful that he never had an affair with her. But more importantly, he's a victim of extortion because she came out right before the campaign and said, or the election, and said, unless you pay me, I'm going to make a public story about something that he says is completely untrue. So that's something that would be done irrespective. And here's the key. It would be done irrespective of the campaign. Because as Michael Cohen, the convicted perjurer, liar, a guy who has zero credibility, I don't even think he had a law license, quite frankly. Honestly, what he said when he pled guilty, Sean, in this case, was that the client, his client, was doing it to prevent personal embarrassment and prevent embarrassment to his family. That takes it out of the realm of exclusively campaign finance.
Wow, there's so much to unpack there. We won't get to all of it, but I will quickly say that's interesting. Michael Cohen may not have been a lawyer at all. Didn't he represent like Donald Trump for like 2 decades? Yeah, let's be real here. Also, facts are our friends. And then in addition to that, even if Donald Trump's new angle is that he was extorted by Stormy Daniels, well, still using campaign funds to pay for it would be a violation of the law, and that's a problem. But then again, maybe it's a lawyer in me, because it's definitely not the lawyer in that gentleman you heard speaking, which is Joseph Tacopina, or Tacopina. I can't really pronounce it because it's not my game. Anyway, that's one of Trump's lawyers speaking with Fox's Sean Hannity, really about the claims that Stormy Daniels now extorted Trump, which is cute how this has evolved. Now, this all comes in the wake of reports that Trump has refused to testify before the Manhattan grand jury. And we know that extension, an offer of opportunity to come testify, it really just means that there's a potential that Trump is about to be indicted as a target. And it's all in connection with his business dealings, specifically whether he paid that hush money to adult film star Stormy Daniels. And of course, the attorney, Tacopina, also spoke to Good Morning America, because why not?
So you expect an indictment?
I expect justice to prevail, and if that's the case, George, there shouldn't be an indictment. I mean, this case is outrageous, really. There should be a healthy dose of disgust from the bar, the legal community, prosecutors, defense lawyers alike. It's not what we do. This is not what we do. We are distorting laws to try and bag President Trump. I don't know if it's because he's leading all the polls. I don't know what it is, but clearly this prosecutor and this prosecutor's office has made an agenda of trying to get him. They've scoured his personal life and business life for 7 years to try and find something.
Did Trump authorize the payment?
It's not directly related.
Did Trump authorize the payment?
It's not directly related to the campaign. It's regardless.
We're going to get to that.
Well, let's assume he did. For the argument,
He's
for this
actually
argument,
admitted that he did. So the answer to that is yes.
Let's assume he did. Okay, this was a plain extortion, and I don't know since when we've decided to start prosecuting extortion victims. He's vehemently denied this affair, but he had to pay money because there was going to be an allegation that was going to be publicly embarrassing to him, regardless of the campaign.
Okay, so you know that Trump is shook because he did not have a woman lawyer out there essentially peddling his lies, because he's always chosen very pretty female lawyers to go out there on the media landscape and to do the talking, and that's not what he's going for this time. He is going with this tough guy, Tacopina, who is pushing this extortion angle, which is very new, interesting, but also it doesn't take away from the fact that you can't use campaign funds to satisfy any kind of extortion there whatsoever. But that's just my understanding of the law. And Intelligencer did have this to say: prosecutors are reportedly looking into whether the payment was properly classified and if business records were falsified in an effort to hide it. The New York Times reports that the grand jury has already heard testimony from Kellyanne Conway, Trump's former campaign manager, as well as David Pecker, the former publisher of the National Enquirer, and Keith Davidson, who once served as Daniels' attorney. Yeah, they are looking into these things, and it's very interesting because they have the assistance of Michael Cohen, the individual that Tacopina had questioned his legal license, even though Cohen was Trump's former attorney for several years, if not decades, and his fixer. And he happened to testify before the grand jury on Monday. So how'd it go? Well, also the Intelligencer has this. Lanny Davis, his attorney, called Cohen's nearly 3-hour testimony on Tuesday a productive afternoon, saying Cohen answered all questions. This is about accountability and this is about facts and the truth, David says. Cohen, who has already spoken to prosecutors several times on this matter, has previously admitted to arranging a payment of $130,000 to adult film star Stormy Daniels in exchange for her silence about an affair she alleges between her and Trump in the early 2000s, while Melania was postpartum, I believe. Trump has consistently denied the affair ever took place, and in the closing weeks of the 2016 presidential campaign, Cohen has said he arranged a payment from the Trump organization to Daniels in exchange for her silence. The former attorney, who was convicted on federal charges in 2018, has said that Trump later reimbursed him for the money. Wow. That's a lot going on there, but it's something we've heard about for quite some time. And also it's pretty indicative of the fact that Trump has a lot of people speaking out against this situation with Stormy Daniels. It's a matter of how his company handled that exchange and that money and whether it used its books to, do away with it. Alonzo, thoughts?
Well, this guy, what is it, Papapino or whatever his name is. First of all, has he looked at Trump's history of lawyers? Doesn't he realize he should be fired right about June? I'm thinking by June, this guy will be gone. It was funny listening to him talk because he starts out, we absolutely deny this affair. And then he's like, whether it did or didn't happen. Like within the same interview, he changed his point. Then the same thing when he was being pressed on the payment. We didn't pay, we didn't pay, we didn't pay. Well, if we paid, we were extorted into paying. So we know that he's lying, that he knows something. I don't think Trump's ever going to be indicted. This is just my personal opinion. They've had him too many times, too many of these cases where they're like, okay, this is the one, this is the one. And I don't care if he's indicted. New York is very good at going after him on his financial matters and financial dealings and shutting him down and quite often taking his money. And that I think bothers him more than anything. But this case, did he use campaign funds? Yeah, we know he did. Just like he used them after the insurrection, he's used them for his personal lawyers before. But they find a way that there's always some weird campaign finance rule, or the money was donated to this fund and not that fund, so it was okay to use the money for personal, use. Didn't we have this thing where he bought a painting of himself for like $10,000 with campaign money? And this is Trump's history, and people keep sending him money. It's like one of these televangelist preachers that drives a Rolls Royce to his private jet, and people who make $20,000 a year still send him money. It's the same thing with Trump. Even that, they had the case where if you donated once, they got your credit card number and it became an automatic monthly donation, and they couldn't prosecute that. So the Stormy Daniels case, I think the vast majority of people believe Stormy Daniels. I think we have everyone testified like, yeah, he paid her $130,000, and now they're just trying to find out where the $130,000 came from. I just don't think that they're going to be able to prove a direct link from his campaign money through Michael Cohen to Stormy Daniels.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know what they're going to be able to prove. I think that it is all there and it's been there, but I totally agree with you that I just don't know that they're actually going to ever indict him. As much as I want it to be the case, in part because there's just so much illegality. The criming it is rampant, and yet our society is not willing to hold a wealthy white male former president accountable for it. I just
right, and
I can't see it happening.
He has so many members of the cult willing to take the fall. I mean, and that's why it's a cult, right? When you're willing to sacrifice yourself for the leader, that's part of it being a cult. And there are always people here willing to take the fall for this. I don't know how close to him it will get. Yeah. But so far even though it's one of those things like we know it, but we can't prove it. And again, it's just such a parallel to, a crime organization, like a mob movie or something where there's always somebody else who has to take the fall, not the Godfather. I mean,
Yeah, that could be why Trump selected his new attorney, Tacopina.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.